Hey, Spurs fam. Good evening, good evening. Good morning if you're in Australia. Good afternoon if you're in the States. And also, good evening in the UK. All right. It's been a while. Took a week off for Christmas holiday break. And so, um, a lot to discuss. People may jump on. I'm actually going to post the link on the page on the chat. Um, Let me post the link to you guys. We got a lot to discuss. There's a lot that is on my mind in regards to Spurs. Um, but let me give a couple of big ups to a couple of people. Um, I just posted the link. All right. So big up to Mark. Big up. Mark Cook, is in the house. Sleepy Mocha, big up, who's also in the house. Just a harmless potato. Big up, big up. He is in the house. Um, okay. Um, Roy, big up. He's also in the house. Spurs GCTV is also in the house. And JJ, big up. Oi, oi, Mari, big up is in the house. Big Tone is in the house. Big up. I posted the link. If anybody wants to come on, they can come on. But let's get right to it. Um, and so the first question and the first major point of the night, Spurs at the halfway mark. Okay, folks. Big up Mark. He's also in the house. Um, Spurs at the halfway mark. I am going to give you guys a honest diagnosis on our team, and there may be a lot of agreements. There may be a bunch of disagreements, and so, but what I love about this channel, why I'm part of this channel, is just open, honest talk about our team. So I'm going to go back to the preseason, back to the beginning of the season, where I talked about expectations. And I will say that in regards to what I had expected for this team, and you guys can go back, you can clip it, I said anywhere between 5th through 8th, even ninth, where we finish, as long as we have an identity, as long as we have a DNA, a philosophy of how to play football. And I would say, because I don't want to say European places are important to me, but if it is, if we have gotten the Conference League, then you know what, I'm satisfied with it. The main point coming into last year's dire situation and dross that we had was to go move forward, to progress, and to find a philosophy. And I would say that we've hit that expectation with Big Ange. Win, lose, or draw, he is going to play that style of football. It's a style of football that everybody likes. It's progressive. It's attacking forward. Some people think he needs to scale back or change it. There's been a couple examples where he's had to make those adjustments, and he's done it. He's done it. And so I say we have reached expectations. We have reached expectations in the sense that we have a philosophy, we have a DNA. We know the type of football that type of team that we are. Go up the road to Manchester United and ask them, what is the Ten Hag's philosophy of football? Are they playing Ten Hag's philosophy of football? And they will probably tell you no. Right? Chelsea, like they're going through what they're going through. Poch is trying to implement. We think we know what the type of football because Poch was here. But they're going through their struggles. But at least we know the type of football players, right? The type of football that we're going to play. I heard Will say this is a perfect analogy, right? Let's just say Postecoglou writes the script, right? He is the movie writer. He writes the script, right? And you could have a good movie script, but what makes a movie great is having the actors. And so the problem is, right? We have a great script, right? But we don't have the actors. Now I know people are gonna say, "Well, our first 11, yeah, our first 11." I'm not. I'm not. This is where I'm gonna get a lot of criticism. I'm already got criticism. I'm just hoping John Bamford comes and shows up, because you notice after the Brighton game, where was Mr. Bamford, right? Where was John, right? Talking about Kulu, right? Big up, Scott. I put the link up. If you want to jump on in and give your honest opinion about us halfway, jump on in. Spurs GCTV says fifth in the league, 6 points off the top. Not too shabby. Yeah, not too shabby, right? Higher than what I expected, right? If we get Europa League, Champions League, that's like that's extra. But that was not my expectation for this club, right? Because this is year one, right? We can't be like Levy, Daniel Levy, the boy, and be unfair and expect this guy to turn water into wine with this dross that we have, right? So going back to the first 11, right? Going back to our squad, right? Because right now we're truly getting our squad to play, and our squad, there's a whole lot of changing and a whole lot of moves that we need to do. And I'm gonna post up the comments that Ange made today, because 100% I back Ange. I'm full forward with Ange. The philosophy of football I like. But there are a couple of things that he has put his foot in his mouth. One, in regards to the players, right? Whatever player that we get in, this is my guy. So that means, big up Ratish, that means that Brennan Johnson, which I'm going to talk about, and a couple other people, right? It's all you, Ange. So I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about the interview that he just gave in regards to how we're going to be in the January transfer window, right? We're going to decode that. I'm going to put it up, and we're going to decode that, because he said some interesting things, right? Right? First week of transfer window, we got to get someone in. And then it's kind of like pausing the brakes. It's like, well, January is a tough month. And now it's just like, hey, you wanted some miracles and wonders, right? You know what that smells like? Levy bullshit. Levy bullshit is getting to him. It gets to everyone. No one's immune. Even the great Pepper and Klopp, if they were here at Spurs, right? Daniel Levy, he has those tentacles. He knows how to influence those coaches. So you already see it. You already see it in the language. So Spurs are halfway mark, and Ratish is going to jump on. Kate, I see you here. If you want to jump on, like I said, I'm posting the link. You guys can jump on. Scott, you could even jump on. I mean, I just want honest opinion. So now that I gave you guys reminding you what was my expectations for this club, right? Anywhere from fifth to eighth, right? The most important thing is a philosophy, a DNA, right? Let's get to our first 11. Let me tell you, big up Ryan. Ryan, if you want to jump on, I posted the link. Kate, you totally understand. Next week, I'll get you on. Let's get to the first 11. I have been, I guess, public enemy number one in regards to Kulu. And big up Ratish. Big up. We're doing Spurs at the halfway. Spurs at the halfway mark. Um, and so let me go into my rant. So
Big up,
I
Maury.
have,
Thanks for having me. Thank you for having me.
yeah, no, definitely. Big up, Vincent Ellis was in the house. Lee Smith, big up, big supporter. He's in the house.
Big up, everyone. Happy Friday to all of you.
So yeah, I have been public enemy number one in regards to Kulu and Johnson, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. If we want to be able to progress, right, in these next January windows, right, Johnson and Kulu at best are squad guys. I say it, I'm gonna say it again, right? What you saw those first 6 months when Kulu came in and he had that confidence, right? You know, you're probably not going to see it again. You're probably not going to see it again. Big up, Scott. We would love to have you on. We would love to have you on. Right? And so I went in hard on Kulu because in most of the games, it's the same predictable moves on, especially at the wing, right? I have no problem with him playing at the 10, playing in the middle. You know, it seems like that's the spot. But as you know, Ratish, Madison's coming back. So that
Yeah.
means eventually, right, if Kulu's going to be on this team from this point on, right, to the next couple seasons, he's going to be a squad player coming from the bench because on the wing, he is too predictable, right? The commentators are telling you he's predictable. The West Ham game was the icing on the game on the cake because I've done streams with Will on this channel where I'm just like, man, his processing is slow. Even the Brighton game, it's the same thing. Slow processing, right? Indecisive, right? West Ham, he was helping the defense come back. He was helping the defense. It was frustrating me. And I'm just like, you know what? Kulu's not that guy. And when I mean not that guy, it's not saying that he's not good. I'm just saying that we could do better. We need to do better. January, summer, right? We need to look into a plan to get better, right? People are saying like he is our starting 11 going forward. And I'm like, no, you want to do better. You want to be able to get better, right? I would take, if you told me the choice between Kudus and Kulu, Kudus is blowing it out of water. I would take Kudus in a heartbeat. Good job by West Ham. Great job by Aston Villa getting Diaby, right? These are the people that we need to bringing in. Kulu is just a good squad player. Scott puts it. He is. And so for me, I got bashed because he had that one game, the goal and assist whatsoever. Mari in the mud. Mari in the mud. No, I'm not in the mud. Just because you play one or two or three, this is the problem with our fan base. And this is why I'm going in. Just because you play one or two, it's same thing for Richarlison. You play one or two or three good games, you automatically rate the player. Could the player just be having a purple patch? Could the player just, having a good two, 3 game form? But that doesn't mean that you rate the player. That doesn't mean, well, give Richarlison a new contract. Right now, I'm calling Saudi Arabia, Middle East, like, hey, look at Richarlison. He has a post. Sign him. Get as much as you can for him. Right? Guys like Kudus, guys like Diaby, right? Great recruitment, great signing by those teams. They're consistently.
Paulo Sarabia from Wolves as well.
Yeah, they're consistently doing those performances. And all I'm saying, we could do better. I want better, right? If Angie's supposed to succeed, we have to get him better. Just like for Conte, just like for Jose, do better. Do better. Then, I got grilled for Johnson. Oh, he's young. He's no. The kid is only 21, 22 years old. There's players who are playing right now in the Premier League in Europe, right now who are balling at 20 and 21. And I don't want to hear that excuse because we paid 50 mil, 50 mil for this guy.
Yeah, from Forest. Yeah, around that.
And I'm sorry. Like I said, it's not like a young Anthony Gordon or someone who's young who's coming in. They have their hits and their mistakes. Right now, what I see from Johnson, and I'm being harsh. He is not that guy. He is not that guy. At best, I'm being nice. He could be a squad player. He's not that guy to be our future starting winger on this team. Now, we got to do better. We got to do better. Johnson is not that guy. I'm sorry. Yes, one good flick into the box doesn't change everything. It doesn't change everything. We need to do better. We need to recruit better. We need to do that, right? Because that's the big problem that we have going forward. It's our front three. It's our front three. Well, we get the chances. Yeah, but we waste. And the types of wasted chances is absolutely frustrating. And I'm more frustrated on Kulu than Johnson. Like Johnson, I don't rate up. Kulu, I think, is a solid player, but not to start. Right? He's got more confidence playing in the middle. That's great. But here's a problem. Not really a problem. It's just that's Madison's spot, right? Once Madison's healthy, we want Madison playing central. We want him there. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get Kulu and Johnson because one of the goals yesterday against Brighton, right? Who scored that screamer? None of them.
Estepinian, yeah.
Estepinian, the Colombian. None of them went to challenge him. You can see clearly a video. Like, what are you doing? Bird watching? What are you like? What the hell are you doing? So it's just frustrating. And people, oh yeah, the last 15 minutes. Yeah, Brighton put the foot off the brakes. And then once they put the foot back,
because the job's already done. Yeah,
it was too late. And then we had the momentum. Trust me, they were doing their thing. They were doing their thing, right? Now I was happy to see Belize score. I was happy, right? Right?
Yeah.
Now this is the one I still don't understand, right? We're down 4-0. We still have Royale and Davies there. One could say, have them keep playing because they're gonna definitely have to play the Bournemouth game because Romero is out, right, and injured.
Kulu suspended for Sunday.
Yeah, he's suspended Sunday. But you have Dorrington and Phillips. Now, I know Phillips just came from injury, but I'm telling you, I don't care. I would rather try them out. It's 4-0.
Exactly that. Yeah.
It's 4-0. Yeah. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? So and I'll throw it to you but to sum it all up, right? I say this in regards to what we need to go after these next windows, right? January, and I'm gonna put up the quote. What we're gonna go after in January, in summer, basically the next 3 windows, right? What are we going to go after? And I'm just saying that Kulu and Johnson are not untouchable. They're not. The only one who's untouchable in my book right now is Son, Madison, Romero, VDV, Udogie, Basuma. We could get better. We could get better than Basuma. He's shaking out. Sarr is still young and developing because I still think Bentancur is our best midfielder behind Madison and to jump over. But the and of course Vicario, and stuff like that. Romero is in along with BDV, and if we get another center back, but it'll probably be R. Kelly, Lloyd Kelly, whatever you want to call him. but we can do better, and that's what I'm saying. In regards to where the team is at right now, being is it fifth or fourth? We're
Fifth.
fifth. You can't complain. It's good despite all the stuff that we've gone through, injuries, suspensions, or whatsoever. And no team has had it like us. Maybe for Newcastle, not bad, but remember the original expectations. Remember the goals. It's to find the philosophy. This is only year one, folks. This is only year one. Right? There's no title charge, no whatever. Champions League, yeah, it's possible because it's the top three, right? City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, and then there's the rest. And so the rest is scrapping and fighting
Yeah,
for
fourth and fifth maybe on the coefficient rankings
the
depends. Yeah.
coefficient. Yeah, fifth could possibly get you Champions League, but other than that, like I said, my only expectation was for this first half for this year is to find the philosophy and DNA and how this team is playing going forward. So I'm done with my rant. Ratish, Spurs at the halfway mark. What is your views?
Yeah, my views is this really. First time debut on Spurs Lounge, so keep up the amazing work. So yeah, last one of 2023 really. So looking forward to this session for sure. But yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I think you summed it up really well. I think I'll talk about the Brighton game in due course, but I think sticking. Well, I think the first point really is the January transfer window. Like I think it's pretty self-explanatory what we need, especially the main priority positions is centre backs and wingers, because I feel like this is where the board and Daniel Levy's got no excuses now. They might have saw what happened last night. I mean, key positions being exposed, like on the wings, especially like with Kulu and Johnson. Like I agree, I think they're both squad players at best because are they in a short to mid-term and long term as well? Are they good enough to be starters for us going forward? Not really. I mean, in the number 10, Kulu has done all right when he played in Madison's position, but on the wings, like his end product is bad. Same with Brennan Johnson. Like Johnson, especially, has to be so frustrating because we bought him, like you said, Murray, for 50 million. We all expect him to hit the ground running. Of course, it takes time, find your feet, but he just panics very quickly. Like he's treating the ball like hot potatoes. I mean, so far this season, what has he done in terms of output? Not a lot, really. I mean, apart from only the Wolves game, he scored inside 2 minutes. That's it. Apart from that, he hasn't really pulled his weight at the minute. But yeah, Kulu and Johnson should be squad players, and we have to try something different because, I mean, the youngsters, give them something new. Like we have to try something different. Like we can't keep doing the same things expecting different outcomes. That's the definition of insanity. Which brings me on nicely to Brighton last night. It was a disgraceful performance. Big up Vincent. We had a great Christmas, apart from Spurs last night. But yeah, as I was saying, I mean, it was a terrible performance. I mean, from start to finish, Brighton, just like us, are crippled with injuries. But at the Amex, they were first at every ball, every challenge. They got it right in our faces. The Zerbi's tactics were bang on, and they got James Milner, who's 37 years old, bossing the game. Like that tells you everything. So we need to stop pulling out the injuries card. We need to stop using that as an excuse because we have to adapt. Good teams find a way of adapting with injuries. Yes, we've got an awful lot, but the scoreline flattered us massively. Like, and with the manager, right? We're both massive fans of Ange. We love him. We want him to do as well as he can at Spurs, and he has done some really very good things this season. But last night, he needs to take a lot of flack for the result because his in-game management at times is horrible. Let's be fair, because why do you feel the need to make substitutions after we go 3-0 down? Like, make it at half time. It makes more sense. At least I would
Mhm.
say, do you know what? He'll be more proactive, but that wasn't the case. Like, the third goal goes in, and straight away substitutions. You bring on 2, 3 players, attacking players, and then when the pressure's off, we start playing football. Like I was scratching myself. Why can't we do it from minute 1 to minute 90? Against like I said, a very good Brighton team for sure. And yes, they've been up and down this season, but at the same time, part of me thinks they were there for the taking, and we missed the boat. So it's the biggest source of frustration. That is for sure. We really need to pick ourselves up quickly because Bournemouth on Sunday is not easy, and they're in terrific form. Solanke's banging in goals for fun. I mean, we're now going into the second half of the season. I agree, Mohammed. I mean, we should go for Tadibo. And I said it last time. I
would
think,
love,
yeah,
I would love
yeah,
to get Sabino.
exactly that. I think Tadibo should be our first choice target in centre backs. If not, as an alternative, go for Tosin from Fulham. But I'm not sure they would sell him because they got Carabao Cup semi-final to contend with. But either way, we need to be proactive once the window opens. I want to see new signings by the time we play Man United in mid-June. Because if we don't get a centre back in, but before that, then we would definitely be asking for more trouble.
Yeah, I want to put up something that was today from Ange from his press conference. Made blockers. Okay. Oh, perfect, perfect. So we can see it. Okay. Um. So I'll read this right, and we'll decipher this right. Ange Postecoglou believes that nothing magical is going to happen in January transfer window for Tottenham Hotspur, and that the club needs to keep building. I'm not surprised. I am not shocked. We are where we are. The transfer window, nothing magical is going to happen in that January window. What we need to do is just keep building. Be creative. That was the word 3 weeks ago. We've had one window with this team to change it around and do things differently. The fact that we're in this position we are is a credit to the players for all the challenges um, we've had. We just kept plowing forward, and that's what we'll do. We will see what we can do in January. Move this banner here. It's ultimately about building a side that we can get us to where we want to. And I 100% agree with with these comments. A sense of in regards to building, right? We want to build a side, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. We want to build a side. The problem that I have, what it is this: what he said a couple of months ago, right? Oh, that first week, we're gonna need to sign somebody, right? And as little by little, you're seeing the Daniel Levy influence to the point where it's just saying, "Hey, nothing magical is gonna happen." So, for those of you, right, we're talking to Tobito. I would love Tobito. Tobito starts over Saliba. He starts over Saliba for the France national team. Why? Yeah, they're both good defenders, but he's better on the ball, much better on the ball than Saliba. He would be perfect for our team, right? 3-man rotation. Saliba, oh no, Saliba. Oh, well, Saliba would be. Tobito, Ramiro, and Van de Ven would be perfect. But sorry to bust your bubble. It's not the new year. Nothing magical is going to happen. Meaning that is not happening. I'm sorry. It's not happening. You'll be lucky enough to get Lloyd Kelly. You'll be lucky enough to get Lloyd Kelly. That's my opinion on this. Matish, what do you think about these comments right here?
I think with the transfer window, you mentioned Lloyd Kelly. I'm not sure if it's a reliable signing for us. I mean, to be honest, but each to their own, really. Who's there to judge? But with the manager coming out with comments like that, is that we completely take those on. We completely take most of it with face value, and the reason why I say that is because January, of course, we're not stupid. We're not expected to sign 5, 6 players. We don't need to do that. we definitely have to sign 2 to 3 players at best, nothing more, nothing less. And next month, like you take into account, players are injured, players are going away to tournaments, like in Son's case, Asian Cup, in Basuma and Sar's case, AFCON. So it depends on how far those Mali and Senegal and Ivory Coast go to, how further they can go in that tournament. So that's the way I see it. Yeah, I mean, with the transfer window, like one window we've brought in quite well in the summer, but we definitely need more for sure. And I think centre backs has to be the priority, and wingers as well. Like, and just thinking when it comes to thinking outside the box, like, excuse me, as crazy as it sounds, I'll ask you, Mari, and I'll ask everyone in this chat: would you consider taking Jadon Sancho from Man United if it means to improve our winger position?
I said that and I got bombed, crucified. And the rationale that I used in regards to Jadon Sancho, the rationale that I used, big up Scott, the
Big up, Scott.
rationale
Big up.
I used in regards to Jadon Sancho was, I said, look, right, clearly this guy doesn't like Ten Hag. He went to United, right? If Ange is such the people's, right, he's a player's manager. They love him whatsoever. Jadon Sancho wants a new start because he was great at Borussia Dortmund. And that style of football that we're playing, a fresh new start, right, would be
Yep.
great for Jadon Sancho. I got grilled. And we got Kulu. He's going to replace Kulu, and I'm like, he will actually be better than Kulu at that position, right? I'm not talking about attitude. I'm not talking about I'm talking about just like quality, right? There's players that went to wrong teams, right? I'm not saying I want Jay Sancho,
Yeah.
but for what we have, shoot, I will take him in a heartbeat. like seriously over Johnson?
Yeah, on the wing position, he'll be a massive upgrade. And the thing is, some people are too quick to judge Sancho because of what he's doing at Man United. Like, you have to put it into context because he's had a fallout with Ten Hag, and when he was at the peak of his powers at Dortmund, he was fantastic. And when he first joined the Premier League with United, he had to take a while to settle in, adapt to a new club. But even then, his goals
This
isn't
one,
that bad. Yeah.
this one I understand. We're not touching with 10-foot pole. Talent, but just just that drama. But big up in the era. I understand. But no, yeah, um, like Jadon Sancho, I would even but he will probably get the English tax, so I'm not willing to pay for that. But like literally, he will be better than what we have now. So
You have to figure out how much of him at United, right? Like Sancho that came from Dortmund, 100%. That guy was great. So I think what we have to figure out, if you're bringing him in, is how much has his development been hurt by it not working out at United? How much of that is just him, United being a bad fit? Because that guy coming from the guy at Dortmund was great. That's undeniable. Like for his age and what he produced, that was a great player.
yeah,
I think I'd be willing to take the chance, especially considering, what we usually bring in for.
Rashford quit walking. Some of those players are walking at United. It's a crap show. So
the environment was unhealthy. Environment's unhealthy at Man United.
And Ronaldo, to his credit, he said it before he left. He said it. So we're seeing it now. We're seeing it now. Before I get Scott's opinion, it is a blessing and an honor to have Scott come in. We're like brothers. We love each other. We also go at it each other. But at the end of the day, that's my brother from another mother. And so it is an honor because he really makes an appearance, but it's exactly the halfway point. We want to get his understanding. Some of you already know his view and philosophy of the team, and so please respect that because this is what we love about Tottenham away. We're not a echo chamber. We're not. So, Scott, your opinion Spurs at the halfway mark. Go ahead, unleash.
Yeah, thanks. And I will say it's great you say that, because I think people see us going back and forth in the chat and everything. But Mari and we're friends. We fight. There's no animosity. And I have been taking a step back. And one of the reasons I did come on is because I always love coming on your show, whether it was back in your old channel or now at Tottenham Way. So thanks for having me up here.
No
I mean,
worries.
I'll say, for me, one of the things that I haven't seen as much as other people, and I think I heard you talking about, I haven't seen a real big change in the identity. Obviously, the playing style is different, but I'm talking about an overall identity of the club. I'm not sure that we as a club have changed all that much. I'm seeing a lot of the same problems that we've always had. Squad depth, not nearly enough, right? Relying on players that consistently let us down. I think that we still have a case where we've gone from relying on Kane and Son to now relying on Son and Madison. And I think people tried to say, oh, we're getting away from that with Kulu when he's replacing him. But we saw what happened is Kulu can't be a guy that can be relied upon, right? Richarlison is not a guy that can be relied upon. And that's what we're really looking for when we say we want to not just be relying on a few players, is it can't just be you have a good run of 4 games. We need players that for 38 games can be relied upon.
Exactly.
To create. And I don't think outside of Son and Madison right now that we have those players. So that's some of my concern when we're talking about, oh, you know, Ange is changing the culture. Ange is changing this. I'm not sure that he is. And again, and for me, as much as you've probably both heard me complain about Ange, I don't put that on him. That's still on Levy. My view on Ange is I don't think he's good enough that if we make the changes needed, that he can compete with the top level teams in the Premier League. Right? That's my biggest concern with him. But right now, I don't think he's at fault for much of what's going on with the club right now. That's still a Levy problem. That's still a player issue. So I actually, in terms of individual decisions, I often will defend him, right? When we lost to Fulham, I don't blame him in Fulham in the cup. That's not on him. That's the same problems we've been seeing at this club for years, is that if we don't have our main players, we can't win games. And until I start to see those major changes happen, I'm not going to believe in the project that we're currently supposedly.
Yeah.
How is it? Did I cut out there for a minute?
Yeah, you cut out there, but everybody's saying, you get so much love tonight.
But what we're seeing now going into this window, right? Like you said it earlier. It's all the same things. Oh, we're not gonna have the money we need. Oh, you know, money is tight. Ooh, bringing players in is tight. And again, that's what I want to see, because people always say to me, "What do you need to see before you'll start to believe in Ange?" And what I need to start to see is that we don't see the same nonsense reports where in December we were going to get to Debo. People were telling me this is different. We're going to get him for sure. And now we see, oh, well, we can't really get him, but that's okay, because really this 21-year-old Romanian from Syria is the guy who Ange really wants. So that's okay. I'm not going to hear that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to listen to, oh yes, this 21-year-old Romanian who could be a very good player. I'm not crapping on him. I'm just saying this is the same thing we hear year after year after year. We have a player into Debo who is he's a good player. I don't know if he's going to be great, amazing, but he's an established good player. You know what he brings. And then we're going to try to change it to say that, no, actually this less proven guy is what we need. So until I start to see changes like that, I have a hard time buying into this being a new build, a new program, a new era, that sort of thing. So that's kind of more of the long term. As to how we've been up here till now, I haven't been as impressed with our individual performances as other people have. I think the Burnley game, the 5-1, 5-2, right? They scored late. Yeah. That was a game, undeniably, they played great. I think in other games, I'm not sure that I have seen a great 90-minute performance from this team this year. That I know other people disagree. I haven't seen the football being great. What I see is a lot of possession, but still so much pass around the outside, and where other people have said that we're missing our chances or missing our sitters. I think what the biggest problem we have is creating those chances. I think it's that pass, the pass that we need to make into the box, the beating a man one-on-one is where we really are struggling. And we saw it when Sonny, he was the one, right? When he went out on the left wing there and he beat a man and he created the goal for Richarlison, the first Richarlison.
Yeah. Beautiful.
That's what we've been missing. We don't have that. That's the play we've been missing from the guys out wide, is being able to make that play to beat a man. We've been missing those crosses going into the box, right? Johnson did it once. That's great, but it's once. He needs to do that 5 times a game for it to be impressive. I think that's what I'm seeing, is that we've had lots of possession. And I think, though, that we're missing that creation, what Madison can do, what Sonny can do when he's out on the wing. And I think that's what we really need to look to improve on. More so, I know we talk about, we're missing our chances. I think we're not creating as many great chances as other people see.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's
and just
too long, but there we go.
Just to add on to your point, I don't even rate Manor Solomon, but still to this day, he's the only one who has put 2 goals at Sonny's feet. This is in comparison to Johnson, right? At his feet, and I don't even rate Manor Solomon. So it tells you so much that we need to do, and I 100% agree in a sense of, and now I kind of understand it in the sense of, it's more of, and I know you have some things. I have some things against Ange because I don't think no one's untouchable, right? I mean, I support back Ange, but no one's untouchable. Everybody has to be criticized. There's some mistakes that he's made, but what you said, it says that it goes back to Levy. Will Levy eventually support this guy getting a Tobido rather than getting this Romanian guy? I don't, like I said, the Romanian guy might turn out to be well, right? It's like BDB, but we always take that chance rather than get someone who starts for the French national team and playing for the second best defense of all Europe. And so it's kind of like, and so no, I 100% spot on, and I'm gonna put this out. Michael says, Scott, you need to come on to these shows more often. I couldn't agree with you more with you when you talk, but sometimes when you comment, I'm baffled. I agree with Michael.
No, big. I Michael is another one. We kind of go back and forth in WhatsApp and the chats, but he's a great guy, and I appreciate always interacting with him, even though we don't always agree. But he's still same thing, right? He's a great guy, so it's always good, Michael.
Yeah, no, Michael is supportive. If he has free time, he can jump on. Michael, big supporter of the show, and wonderful insight. And so, so in the halfway mark, as you know, we are depleted, and so one of the questions that came in, it's big up to Apesh, because this is the one that had me rolling. I'll start with Matesh and then Scott. Mari, how can those players be tied? Oh, let me forget. Guys, please hit the like and subscribe, please. I know I'm horrible in remembering that, but please hit the like and subscribe. Send a super chat if you want. Apesh says, Mari, how can those players be tied with no Europe? I agree, and no Carabao Cup, and 1 game each week. I would be fuming at those players yesterday. Why is he bailing those? Why is he bailing those players out? And I agree. And like I said, I don't always agree with everything with Ange, but we only have 1 game a week, Ratesh. I mean, you agree with what Apesh is saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one because I feel that, I mean, obviously we're at the halfway stage, so I'll quickly talk about that. I mean, so 5th in the league, we're not far off the top 4 going into 2024. And Mark is spot on, because you have to say, if you'd said to any Spurs fan, we'd be 6 points off the top from August, from the very beginning of the season, everyone would laugh in your face. I mean, for with us, like we went about our business very quietly. Yes, there's more to come. Performances can be improved on. That's a good thing. Season's not 19 games in, it's 38 games. So, I mean, with 1 game a week, I mean, you have to perform every single week, give it every single time, giving 100%. Like the manager has made mistakes. The Fulham game in the Carabao Cup. I hear what you say, Scott, about not enough players given to him at his disposal. But at the same time, he should have gone full strength. He made 10 changes in that game. We're not in Europe this season, so we definitely missed the boat with that. Obviously, FA Cup is a big chance for him to hopefully put things right. Can he take that seriously? Burnley coming up at home on the 5th, I think. Yeah, 5th of January. So, which is the Friday week. So, we need to look ahead for sure. And the league has been very inconsistent. If I'm being honest, I mean, everyone's been everyone, and Manchester City, everyone's talking about them being in the crisis. Well, if they win their game in hand, they're only they'll go to second, I think, above Arsenal in goal difference. That's my point, really. We just, for us, we just need to be more consistent. January, we definitely need to sign players because we've got big games coming up at the start of the year. Got Man United away, Brentford's not easy. I think February, we got Chelsea away, but then it depends on how far they get through their semi-finals in the League Cup. So that could be rearranged. Brighton, Everton, Wolves. So as far as we're concerned, we definitely need to prepare everything in advance going forward.
Yeah, I mean, when going back to the original comment when they said about our players being tired, we really shouldn't be. But at the same time, I do think one of the not problems, I won't say, but one of the issues with Ange's system, or at least the way that he plays it with us, is that we do seem to have to be going almost full speed all the time for it to be effective, right? And maybe that's because our players aren't good enough. So, but it does seem like a maximum effort system, whereas some of the other systems, I mean, City comes to mind, right? And Barcelona in their prime. And obviously these are teams that are at the most extreme level, but the way that they're able to pass the ball around, they can almost take a break for a little bit, the way they control the ball. And even though we do have a lot of possession, it seems like for us to have that possession, it's not because we're making those easy passes. We are working hard to get that ball back. So you can imagine that it might take more energy out than some of the other systems and some of the other styles that teams play. But yeah, there is a little bit confusing that we are saying that we're tired. I think that's Ange. From the short time I've heard him, he does like to protect his players a lot, right? Especially considering who we had before with Conte and Jose, who aren't that style. So I do think he's probably a little bit of him protecting the players with that comment, trying to take some of the pressure off them, because I can't imagine that he's overly excited about the fact that we're playing one game a week and we're halfway through the season. And if players are actually that fatigued, well, that's a major concern.
Exactly that. And I think, every team at some point will have injuries, and obviously they're going to have to go through adversity. With us, we've been through adversity. We've had injuries left, right, and centre. And the thing is as well, we're not going to go down that route of making that as an excuse whenever we lose a game or drop points. Newcastle are in a similar boat to us in terms of how many players they have missing. Brighton yesterday, I think Mitoma and quite a lot of others not played. So, we can't, we don't want to feel sorry for ourselves. We just need to pick ourselves up and go again. That's the whole point. Because I think there are certain games that you must be thinking, looking back on it, as we reach the halfway stage, we probably should have got the extra 5 to 6 points. Like the Aston Villa game where we lost 2-1, we peppered them in the first half, and then it was poor finishing at the time. Same thing with West Ham. First half, very good. Second half, poor finishing, comedic defending for 2 goals. And to be fair, West Ham did change tactics in that game, but still, we handed the game to them on the silver platter. And I was thinking to myself, those small little details, we'd be so far comfortable in the top 4, but nonetheless, with 5th place at a halfway stage is still a healthy position to be in, considering a lot of people written us off. Most people gave us no chance. We all thought that Chelsea and Man United would be competitive, but they've been pretty bad to say the least. But we just focus what we're doing.
I will say this: 2 things. I have a question for you guys. I will definitely say this, and I've watched football, for the 44 years of my life, starting in the mid 80s, watching Maradona, watching Argentina, and just watching football. And it's not being nostalgic. I grew up seeing great strikers, great scorers, like, Batigol, Batistuta, seeing Michael Owen. That was one of the first players I liked in the Premier League when he was at Liverpool. What I'm trying to say is, I watch Liverpool, Arsenal. I've watched City. I've watched these teams. Yes, there are more chances than football in the past couple decades, but I've seen so much atrocious missing and people not being clinical. And I think the reason why even the Spurs are 6 points behind is because especially in the Premier League, the football is not good. It's not saying that Manchester City is not great whatsoever, but you see those shots they misses. I know Scott likes to say lucky. I think all the teams, and especially in the Premier League, they don't know how to finish their dinner. I'm watching these other teams. I'm watching these other games. The football is not that great in the Premier League. It's not. So I'll give a credit to box office. It's more of the league is closer to Spurs than Spurs catching up with the league. Am I making sense?
No, you're right, Mari. I do say a lot about opponents against us missing chances, but it's far from the only one. Like this, it does seem this year more than ever that finishing is just awful.
It's atrocious.
It's substandard. Yeah, it's substandard.
Yeah, I'm watching all these other leagues, and I'm just like, man, if those guys of the past had shots like that, Roberto Baggio, R9, like they would be more
Slatan.
Yeah, but not even great. Like Jermaine Defoe, who we all like he doesn't. You know what? He's not an all-time great, but he puts that in.
Yeah,
right. You know what? Like he puts those in.
Yeah, the football, and I'm just like, man. I'm watching these other games. Yeah, he missed the pen. I know that 94, Baggio. But yeah, no, I've not watched that, and I'm just like, the Premier League it's down. Not horrible, but it's just like I've watched too many games where people just miss. I'm like, what's wrong with these strikers, these wingers? Like Arsenal, like I'm watching them against West Ham. I'm just like wasteful, just like Spurs. City, I'm watching. The only difference is, cities look more clinical. Alvarez and Haaland, but you know how many chances they have? They should be scoring 6-7 goals. Like so many misses I'm seeing. It's just like it's epidemic. So I'm just throwing it out there. But I want to go back to the point of, because I've seen the chat and I'm stemming the concept with the chat. Everybody's talking about how bad Davies and Royals are, and more Emerson Royale. I'll give credit. It's like it's a patch. Davies is being that steady Eddie. He's being that steady Eddie. He's not great. He's not horrible. He's slow, so he will get burned. There's nothing we can do about that. He's just slow. But Royale that's a different story. Like I said, my expectations for this year, like, is it worth a chance to put in Dorrington and maybe the next game now Phillips, right? You got him on the bench, to the team last game. I can stand it's the first game back. Should these guys play? I'll start with Scott. Should these guys, and then go to Ratesh. Should these young guys play? What do you have to lose?
Yeah, I have said that I don't think either one of them is ready, and that's not meant to be an insult to them. But I don't even know the last time a player as young as them have played in the Premier League at center back. Right? It's not something that normally happens. And for Phillips, for example, 6 months ago he was playing for Blackburn and wasn't starting for them in the championship. So I don't think that they're ready. I think, but that's the problem, is that we should have better players in front of them. But considering that we don't, I don't see why you don't give them a chance. Royale has shown I hate him as a right back, which is his normal spot. He's awful as a center back. He's awful and somewhat understandable because he's never, that's not where he grew up playing, right? That's not the position he should be playing. So it shouldn't even necessarily be a surprise that he's awful as a center back, but he is. He's terrible. Maybe I could see him as a back in a back three. You put him on the right side and hope he can get by. But in a 4-man back line, he can't play. So I would give them, the young guys, a chance. Not because I think that they're ready for the Premier League, but they're better than what we have right now. And we've seen Emerson is not good. I'm sorry, he's not good at that role at all. So the worst case scenario is you get a young guy who goes in there and is probably maybe equally as bad. And I don't necessarily think that one game playing one of these guys is going to all of a sudden ruin their confidence. If they're that mentally weak that one tough game, you know what I mean, like ruins their confidence, and I'm not sure that they're going to have the mentality to get through their career, because they're gonna have a lot of tough games playing center back in the Premier League. They're not going to have perfect games their whole career. They're going to have to learn to overcome some adversity. So I think you put them in and try them out there for sure, because it's not working. It's not working. Royale and Davies is not working.
Yeah, 100%. And for those young guys, you got to take off the diapers. You got to put on the big boy pants. You got to take off the train wheels, right? Yeah, you're gonna fall, right? When you first time ride the bike, right? You get back up, right? We're in that position, right? If we're not gonna have Romero for 5 weeks, we're not gonna have Van for a couple of weeks, right? And we're surely not playing Dyer. You might as well let them get some scabs, you know, get some cuts, scabs here, you know. I'm sorry, Ritesh.
No, that's fine, Mara. You're cool. Yeah, I completely agree, really, with Scott, because I don't think we've. I mean, like I said from the start, like what have we got to lose? Because all the other teams in the Premier League are playing youngsters. You know, Man City giving Rico Lewis game time. Liverpool played some youngsters in Europe on Thursday night. So why can't we follow suit? And I think Ashley Phillips in defence. We have to hope that he should have minutes on this under his belt on Sunday, or Dorrington, or both, and also the FA Cup game against Burnley. You know, you have to try and experiment, give them game time, let them settle in, even if they make a mistake. You know, it's a learning tree. So we can't just keep going with the same sort of players. Like Emerson Royale in centre back just clearly doesn't work. You know, you don't need a rocket scientist or the world's great mathematician to figure out that Chicken Royale's not a centre back material. I think with Davis, I mean, Mario, you're spot on in the sense that Davis is not amazing, but he's not crap either. Like, you know, he is a steady 6 out of 10 player at best. Like, you know, he gives his heart, he gives his soul, everything. Like, you have off days, you have good days as well. So I think Felice took his goal nicely against Brighton yesterday. I think that'll do his conference the whole world of good. I think he should be more of the same against Bournemouth. Come off the bench at some point, get minutes under his belt, and I think we might just think about starting him for the FA Cup game next Friday. So, you know, in a short term, you know, let youngsters have the opportunities like your Dorringtons of the world, Felices, Ashley Phillips, etc., etc.
Okay. So the next question, and probably our last question before we take predictions of the Bournemouth game, which I am not confident they're playing better. I know it's at home, but now that we're at the halfway mark, realistically, what do you think is going to happen in the second half? And this includes now the transfer window. So you can tell me we'll get one player or two players, Wood Kelly and whoever from somewhere to come in, and we'll finish, I don't know, 7th, or we'll get Tobito, and we'll get Federico Chiesa. That this is a wet dream, and we'll go to 3rd. But that would never happen. Even the matter of fact, even Conor Gallagher, we will not get. We're not paying that English tax anyway, so not happening. Not happening. I'm sorry, I don't burst people's bubble. Not happening. But what are you looking at in the second half? I'll start with Scott. Oh, matter of fact, what would you like to see? But what do you think is going to happen in the second half?
Okay, I'll go with what I think is going to happen because that's easier.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get the is it Dragison? Is that his name? The center back, right, that we've been talking about. I think we'll get a somebody up front who will be of that similar level of him, a guy who can provide depth, but probably not somebody that we want to see starting. I think those are probably the two moves that we'll see. I don't think we're going to get any of the top guys that we want, the top guys that we need.
No Jimenez?
No, nothing like that. Maybe Jimenez Jr., somebody who's like
My
playing.
fiance will be happy. She's Mexican, and so
He doesn't want him to come here, right?
she
Doesn't want him wasting his career.
Spurs, so she get the jersey. But I'm like, babe, I don't know that's going to happen. He's too expensive.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have a second half similar to this. Oh, maybe kind of the reverse though, right? Whereas we started out so hot, and we started out with some really great results that we liked. I think we're going to be struggling, right, with the injuries we have. I think we're going to be struggling for all the way through January, maybe into February. Then at the end, we're going to have some really good performances to get us excited. And ultimately, we'll probably finish around 6th or 7th is my prediction. It's going to be up and down. We're going to have enough of those good performances that people are going to get overly excited, as Spurs fans always do. But overall, it's going to be kind of a up and down, mediocre season where we're not really competing for anything, but there's enough good points that the fans that want to get excited will get excited. What I would like to see us is get in Todibo or somebody of that level. I would like to see us get in a proper number 6 to play an Ange's system. And I don't say DM because I know he doesn't use kind of that traditional DM, right? But I think that there's got to be a lot of questions asked about Bissouma overall, and especially playing in that 6 role. I'm not sure he's suited for it. And I think I'd rather bring in somebody to play that role, and then we could have Bissouma and Bentancur play into 8.
What about Jota? Do you rate him?
Jota would be that kind of guy who I could see us bringing in when I said similar. I don't think that he's a guy who you want starting in the Premier League. I don't think he's of that level, but he's a guy who could be on the team. Would I rather see him play than Johnson on the left or Hill? Yeah, he's an upgrade there, but I don't think he's at the level that you really ideally would want. But yeah, that's a good name. That right there. Yeah, Dragison and Jota, I could see that being our transfer window, bringing those guys in. What I would rather see is somebody who really could challenge, right? How long? I keep saying it. I said it last summer. How long has it been since we've had like a difficult decision of who should play at that position, right? Even this year, we don't really have. It's not somebody who you're like, ooh, let's play. It's okay, who can we play? And I'd love to see for once at Spurs to have like 2 really quality left backs where you're saying where they're competing for each other for the position, or 2 really quality strikers, but we don't get that far. We don't get it. And somebody asked, sorry, I didn't see, what about the FA Cup? I don't have much hopes for us going in the FA Cup. The fact of the matter is, especially now, teams are too deep, right? The top teams, Liverpool, City, they can compete in the FA Cup and the league and Champions League. They no longer have to kind of drop off there and give up. Those guys can put out strong teams in those cups. Liverpool especially, because they're playing in the Europa League, so they don't necessarily have to play their top team to compete and still advance in that league. So we'll see. I mean, it always depends on the draw, right? I think we could easily lose to Burnley. Like, let's be honest, that's not an easy matchup that we got.
Yeah.
Burnley is a team that could beat us. So I don't know. Hopefully it's better than that. I'll always say, as much as people think that I'm pessimist, I always hope to be wrong. I don't need to be right. I would rather be wrong and have us win the league, win the FA Cup. But I don't have much hope for it.
If we were in the FA Cup, I think I'll cry. Literally, because I haven't seen those since 2008. I'll cry.
Yeah, no, I know there's a famous, Will obviously is not as big fan of the FA Cup as some of the other people are, but I don't think that's all North American fans, right? We are allowed to be different. I would be very happy to win the FA Cup, and I think that's the most realistic trophy we have.
I will streak naked. Whatever. So yeah, the FA Cup. Oh my goodness. Trust
That'll
me.
be a dream, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I would take it.
Because I've not seen us winning an FA Cup in my lifetime. I'll be honest. Yeah. So imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah. So just to add to what Scott said, really. So my expectations for the second half of the season, it's very similar, really. I think. So I think we will. I think sadly we might have some injuries down the line in the second phase, but my expectation will be slightly different. I think FA Cup, ideally, the manager, from his perspective, if he can take it seriously, then perfect. I mean, even if we don't win it, a good cup run, like a quarter, semi-finals, will not be the end of the world. But I think my dream would be obviously winning the FA Cup this season. Yeah, because the last time
the Carabao Cup was the last time I see a trophy. But yes, 1992 was the last FA Cup.
1991, yeah, 91, yeah, 92. But yeah, as I was saying, just lose track there. Yeah, as I was saying, right, the second half of the season, I think we'll hopefully get some signings in by the end of January when the window shuts. I think Dragusin would be a good choice from Genoa. I think he's 21, he's got real potential, and I think he'll settle in nicely. Similar. I think him and VDV similar age, aren't they? So I think in the right system that he'll be able to do a job. I think if he comes in tomorrow, then we'll take him for sure. If we can't get Todibo, it's always good to have an alternative. Jota from the Saudi League would be a good option on the wings. Just to provide competition and maybe another midfielder. I'd assume we should not get. We linked with Gallagher, but can we? Do we take him? I'm not sure if Chelsea willing to do the business with us. I mean, they want 50 million or something like that. But either way, if we get players in next month, once the window opens, and that's good. In terms of the Premier League, where I think Spurs will finish, I still maintain the fact that, I mean, if we get top four this season, then it's unbelievable. But even if we don't get it, it's not the end of the world. My expectation, if we come fifth or sixth, then that's really good as well. I think the lowest will probably be seventh, really. But yeah, that's just the way I assess the second half.
Yeah, my expectation. Well, FA Cup. I think we survive Burnley, but I think we lose in the next round. It's just we just don't have the depth, let alone the quality to do anything more than that. In regards to the league, it's really interesting because there is a break, and apparently Madison and BDV will be back. So
yeah, I think the timeline, Madison could be back for Old Trafford.
Yeah, United, and I heard BDV a little sooner. If that happens, because like where everybody else is, like I said, this Premier League is not that good. It's competitive, but there is not really like teams that are just like I think the league is just not as good.
It's wide open, isn't it? Like no one's exactly pulling away. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking more a Europa League place right now because just like I said, I got to see the pieces who are coming back. Because when Massa comes back and Sonny comes from the Asia Cup, we know they have a connection, and Sonny's good to score 2 goals, and we win like 2-1 or whatsoever. So I'm thinking anywhere, basically the same thing I said, anywhere from 5th to 8th. That's what I said at the beginning.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you called it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have not changed. And I've not been criticized. Oh, you're being too conservative. No, I'm just being like I see what I see.
The thing is, you have to take into account that in the second half, obviously we'll get better. Like if we get players back from injury and start winning games.
Yeah.
Newcastle get players back from injury. Villa will go again. I know Villa just going through a dodgy patch. They drew to Sheffield United and lost to big up to Cube, anti-hero. Yeah,
he's been the hero today. He's been the hero today. Mark is just joking.
Yeah, I think like I said, Aston Villa, they're going through a bit of a dodgy patch. They lost to Sheffield United and blown a 2-goal lead at Old Trafford to lose the other night. So, but you don't write them off just yet. That's the thing. You know, a lot of teams will be up there being competitive, but I think title race will go to the distance. I think right Man City off at your peril. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, City does. We know what City's going to do, right? They're going to come in. They're going to go at about the 24 game mark. They'll win the last 14 games of the season and win the league by 6 points because that's what they do. They know how to win. They've done it before. They go on those runs where they just don't lose. They don't lose.
VDV is supposed to come back in 2 or 3 weeks. Same with Madsen. Going back to City, this is why I laugh at Arsenal fans, right? Not so much Liverpool fans, Arsenal fans. I'm like, I've never seen City go 6 games, get 1 victory in 6 games. Now with the game at hand, City is not only tied, they're ahead of Arsenal.
They can go second. That's why I said on goal difference. Yeah.
City's going to win the league. Arsenal, if you couldn't do it when they didn't have Kevin De Bruyne, what like Rodri?
No Haaland as well missing.
Yeah, City's going to win it. All right, I'm sorry, Arsenal fans. Not sorry. You have your chance to pounce and get points. It ain't happening. You know, City. If I'm a City person right now, I'm laughing to the bank.
Of course, big time. Yeah.
How Liverpool and Arsenal fumbled this opportunity. You know, it doesn't. Yeah, no, they're not the same, and they still better. And a matter of fact, Julian Alvarez. Have you seen Julian Alvarez?
Yeah,
he's been balling. So better than Mahrez. So I'm just saying, City. Arsenal missed their chance. I'm sorry. I'm saying it now. They missed their chance.
If you look at it in the long run, right? If they miss out on the title, they look back at the West Ham game last night, Liverpool at Anfield. I know a draw at Anfield is not the worst result because Liverpool rarely lose at home, but still, you went 1-0 up. You should have got the job done, really. And then Aston Villa and other games, Newcastle away, Fulham at home, us. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry, they missed their chance. And G Chain, I would love to get G Chain because remember G Chain went at me right when I said you have to be your City will come back. You have to take your chance, the opportunity. You can't drop points. You can't get draws, right? And G Chain will say, "Oh, this is ridiculous." G Chain, with a game at hand, if City wins, they're technically ahead of you. You miss your chance.
What's crazy is that, and I think you were mentioning it, Mari, is that the Liverpool fans I've seen are all worried and nervous about City. They're the club that has actually beat them before, but they still know what City will do. Whereas it's the Arsenal fans that have already choked it away last year. For some reason, they're the ones with all the chest. Oh, City, they're not a threat. We're okay. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you haven't shown any ability to win the league. Liverpool fans, as much as I hate Liverpool, I'll give them credit because they know and they've beaten. They're the one team
they've been there, done it. Yeah. I was going
to
say Scott's
a great manager. He knows how to get. Arteta. Yeah. Okay.
I was going to say, like, to add to what Scott said before I was going to go, right? What makes me laugh is that Arsenal fans, they're acting like you said with so much chest, like they're acting like they're the best team on the planet because. Yeah, last season they've done really well. They finished second, got in the title race. They've massively punched above their weight. Let's be fair. But at the same time, it creates pressure because there's no excuse for them not to win a trophy this season. If you want to go along with that metric, you should be in the title race because circumstances vary because they spent more than $500 million. Arteta's been there 4.5 years, whereas with us, we've had our manager for 5-6 months. Poch has been there 5-6 months at Chelsea. Ten Hag's second season.
Patricia Scott, they were better last year. They were better last year.
Exactly. Last
No,
season,
last year was their chance. That was their chance to.
They were scoring goals. Martinelli, Saka can't score on the road. Saka only got 3 open field goal. Field goals. I mean, like they were better last year. Oh well, defense won. I get that, but you're missing chances and you're still leaking goals. You're still leaking goals.
Even you know what, Mari? I'll say they might have be better team this year, but they were getting the better result. Last year they got the results you need. Do you know what they got the results you need. They got a lot of wins in games where they probably should have had a draw or a loss. And that's what they got last year. They got all the kind of luck results that you needed to win a league.
Scoring goals to front 3.
And this year they're not getting that this year, right? Yeah. A lot of those games
where's Martinelli?
And also what makes me laugh is well is their fans blame VAR. Whenever they lose a game or drop points, the first thing on their mind is VAR. Referees are against us. They believe it's a conspiracy. They don't want Arsenal to win the league and all that waffle. Like, come on now. Every team in the Premier League will have bad decisions go against them, right?
Yeah,
every team.
But you start getting into that mentality, right? And then you when you lose, it's not your fault. So you don't have to improve on things, right? Oh, that wasn't our fault. That was VAR's fault. So we don't need to work on things. We don't need to change things. It's just bad luck. And I think it's a bad mentality. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the injuries and Ange, right? And I think it's smart of Ange. You don't want to start letting Spurs players say, oh, we've had injuries, poor us. Then you excuse the losses, right? You always want to say, because you don't want that attitude where you can make excuses for losses. You want losses to hurt. You want to build off losses. You want your players to expect that that loss that we just had, we're going to make sure it never happens again. And if you start whining about VAR, whining about refs, it's easy for those losses not to hurt. It's easy for you not to work harder. Well, I don't have to work harder. I just have to have the refs give us the game. And
exactly. And
so
Scott,
it's a bad mentality.
You want a good laugh, Scott Evertesh? If Richarlison was on Arsenal, he would be the leading scorer.
Wow. I didn't even think about it.
You can't make that up. You cannot. We're wanting to get this bum out.
Maury, I'm not even being funny, right? I think there's a stat flying around recently. Richarlison's got more goals in the Premier League this season than the whole of Manchester United's attack put together. In Anthony, Højlund, Garnacho, at one point,
At one point,
and Rashford, yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And I was watching another stream, and the Arsenal guy couldn't say anything. I was like, we don't even rate Richarlison. We can't stand him, except for this guy. Is the only Richarlison fan, but he will be the leading scorer on Arsenal. This is why I'm like, no, they're not winning the league. No. Let's get some predictions. Oh, Donna Cullen in the house. Oh, I'm getting excited. Let's take some predictions. This is a tough game to call. We're at home, but you know who we're missing. We'll start with Scott. Bournemouth is they're not a bad team. They could surprise you, and you know, with us, I'm not confident in any game, especially now who we're missing. What are you looking at for on Sunday?
Yeah, I wasn't overly impressed with Bournemouth early on, but they are they've really played well, right? I think they've won 4 or 5 in a row, maybe even. Like they're playing well, so credit to them.
Scott's a family.
I think it's kind of the worst case scenario for us is that I think this is a team where if we had our full squad that we would probably win this game.
They beat us last year
fairly easily, but I'm not too concerned about it. But with the players we are missing, I'm going with 3-2 Bournemouth win. And I think there's going to be goals to be had, and I think that no matter who, even if we put in the young guys, I think that we have too many concerns at center back for me not to think that we're going to be in trouble and we're going to be letting in a lot of goals.
they beat us. They beat us last year too. So yeah, yeah. What's his name? His name is Scott. He's a family man. Donna, don't be a home wrecker. Don't be a home wrecker. He's a family man. Your predictions, Ratish.
So my predictions. Well, it's an interesting one. It's the last game for 2023 for Spurs. Is at home, obviously, against Bournemouth. I mean, Bournemouth are a lot different team proposition now compared to when we last played them at the start of the season. Like at one point, it went 9 games without a win. So the fact that they've gone about their business very quietly, they got Solanke who's on fire. I got in my FPL team.
Yeah.
And the way they dismantled Manchester United at Old Trafford, they're away from home recently. It's been very good. They're the form team at the moment, so they are a oil-well machine, and they got a decent manager. So they'll definitely give us a game for sure. I think the injuries obviously have taken a lot out of us. Big up, Scott. Big up. But yeah, I think the injuries obviously has taken a lot out of us. But at the same time, I really think that whenever we lose a game, we bounce back quite nicely. I remember we lost 3 on the road, and then the Newcastle game, we demolished them, albeit they have injuries, but we still done the job at the time. So I think we can pull this out of the bag. I really do. I think, considering the circumstances, and we want to give the fans something to cheer about. So I think Bournemouth will win. I think I'll get mixed. I think we'll win. I think Spurs will get over the line. If we don't win this, then at the bare minimum, we should get a draw. So I'm going for 2-1 to Spurs. I think we'll nick it.
I'm being positive. I'm also had that in my mind. 2-1 Spurs. I think Solanke will score. I think if we were on the road, I would say we'll definitely lose. But because we're at home, I think we don't want to end the new year on a loss. I think we'll win 2-1. I think we'll come good. Well, and start dying tomorrow.
He better not. I don't want to see Dyer anywhere near the team on Sunday.
Yeah, the game's on Sunday.
Yeah, New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Yeah. So, So, Matesh, thank you for coming on, and I know you've come on the channel, and we love your insight, and it's first of many, many, many more. So,
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, and we will do the stream for that game. I don't know if I'm gonna be on because I fly out from Mexico tomorrow. So, but I will stream. I will jump on the stream next week, and so yeah. So you guys will see me live from Mexico, and that's it. That's all
nice.
I got.
How long are you gonna? How long are you gonna stay there?
About 4 or 5 days. My fiance is over there, so bring in the new year with her. So
nice.
do some more wedding planning and stuff. So yeah. But big up to everybody who's in the chat. Terrence, big up. Vitesh.
Ratish, yeah. Terrace, big up.
Yeah, big up Terrace. Big up to Nita. Big up to Macarena. Man, big up. You changed your name to Balu now. Okay. I love it. I miss. We gotta do a stream together again. Big up to Philly. Big up. Did you say Beyonce? Big up Mark. Big up Pesh. Big up Donna Cullen. Big up Dave Clark. Big up Just a Harmless Potato. Big up to everybody. C Cube. She came through. On the chat, Scott blogs. Big up to Scott making an appearance, and people really got an understanding of what he thinks of the club and stuff. So it was real good to have him on. Big up to Orsham, Cold Shot, Immortal Worm, Louis K, and Levy Evra, BB. I'm getting everybody. Robert Oy. Got so many. Big Tone. Michael. Disabled Team. Nita. BB. Shara. Big up to Spurs. Graham. Just big up to everybody that came on and just for their support. Kate earlier and Philly and JJ. Spurs GCTV. So big up. If I don't see you guys again, Happy New Year. Blessings
Happy New Year, man.
to the new year. And guys, we are going to
Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you
out.
Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.